Well, my question is this. How do you run this country called America? I'll adjust that later. But anyway, how do you run this country called America as a president or the president of the United States of America, and you are more concerned about the NFL protesting police brutality? Now, I got to say that because the narrative has been spun, and that is the art of deflection, and that is what people do. When Colin Kaepernick protested, he was protesting police brutality. Somehow, over a period of time, just because somebody said that they're protesting the flag, he said nothing about the flag. He said nothing about the flag. He said nothing about the national anthem. He said nothing about that. He just protested during that time that if this country represents something that it says it stands for, he chose to protest it during the national anthem. And not only that, he was just sitting down. And then an ex-Special Forces soldier that was, I think, a long snapper for Seattle, Board or something like that, anyway his name was, told him it would be more honorable to take a knee because that's what we do in the military when one of our comrades, Dowell, passed away. Of course, President Trump wouldn't know that either because he's a 5-time deferment for bone spurs in his feet, and he's been walking on them for the last 60, 70 years. It's utterly amazing. But anyway, and now he's called Omarosa a dog. Now, I realize that many people in the United States of America does not know the etymology of words. Believe me, I realize that. I know it. I get it. I comprehend it. That they don't know the etymology of words. But there's another word for dog, and it begins with the letter B. It's only a few letters off. You know, no more than maybe 1 or 2 letters off, you follow me. And what is appalling to me, and don't get me wrong, I understand exactly what's going on. All publicity is good publicity. Believe you me, I get it, I comprehend it, I understand it. And I understand that it benefits him to be divisive. I understand, and I mean, but you know, I'm laying out some facts here for us to think about here for a second, okay? I'm not even talking about him being a president. My question is simply this, is how can you be sitting up here running the greatest, allegedly the so-called greatest country in the free world, in the United States of America, and then still be concerned about what pop stars, Hollywood stars, rock stars, this Omarosa woman, Colin Kaepernick is doing, and tweeting out on all this other stuff. And then let's don't forget the alt-right thing. Now, you had one group that was protesting racism. You had the other group who was being racist. And then we watched a guy discharge a firearm. And you know, by the way, let me bring this up. Do you know what happened to that guy that discharged that firearm in that public venue like that? They charged him not for pointing that gun, brandishing that gun, and pointing it at innocent civilians, but you know what he did? They charged him for firing within a certain distance. Watch this, within a certain distance of a school zone. Totally unrelated, totally unimportant that he actually fired that at another human being down and away from him. I mean, this country is literally off the chain. And it's amazing to me how people take certain positions and stance. And let me go ahead and answer this. Somebody asked me, well, what are you, Pastor Dowell? I am an Israelite. Yeah, that's it. I can't be nothing else. I'm a servant of the Most High Yah, so therefore I'm an Israelite. I can't be nothing else but that. That's what I was born in this world to be and to do. I am a bloodline Hebrew Israelite. Okay, good. Now we got that out of the way. Hope I answer people's questions. But when you start thinking about all this stuff, where do you find the time? I mean, you got to understand, man, you have got to have some time on your hands to be sitting up here in the Oval Office running around looking at what people say in order to make these attacks. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the 48 laws of power. I get it. All publicity is good publicity. Get your name out there as long as your name remains in people's mouths. You follow me? It's amazing. I mean, the majority of my publicity that comes to the ministry is actually people out there making negative, disparaging comments about me on videos. People I don't know, people I've never met, people I've never sitting down broken bread with me, that have never seen me. But there's a lot of people making videos about me. And mind you, just because someone is making a video, does that mean that they're telling the truth just because they give you their side of the story? Ain't there two sides to every story? But anyway, they do it. And a lot of people come to this ministry. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to go to a place in the deep south because there's just so many people coming to the ministry in that area because of the finger pointing. When they go and they check out the home fellowships, they check out Pastor Dowell, they really look at it, they go, what in the world? And a lot of this negative publicity is pointing more people to me. So I get it. Believe me, I get it. That's why you don't see me running around putting out fires. I don't believe in that stuff. I don't. Now, if I get an opportunity to meet the people face to face, because, I don't believe in this talking about somebody so bad behind video, making personal attacks and stuff. I'd rather just do it like this, if you know what I mean. But when we're talking about someone that is holding office, there's a higher standards of expectation. There's a higher standard of character that there should be expected from the President of the United States of America. And that's just obvious. That's just literally the way that it should be. But it's appalling to me how that he can go around and be so distracted at the smallest of things when, as a president, you're going to be talked about because, after all, you're the president. That's the reason why you're up there. You get fired at and stuff. But, shouldn't there be a certain level that he should be able to rise above all the noise, or rise above the theater, rise above the pomp, show yourself more worthy rather than being low and base-minded as other people's are? Everybody know what Omarosa is doing. She's bitter. And we know that arrogant woman is only out to peddle her books and to sell her books and to tell a story. We don't know if she's telling the truth or not. I don't know why people just love all this drama. I'm not buying the book. It doesn't mean nothing to me. I don't need the book. But, hey, she's out there trying to carve out a living because she got fired by Trump. And not only did she get fired by Trump, she got fired and was called to the situation room. Now, most people don't know what that means. What that means is that's a room to where it's soundproof. You can't hear nobody. Nobody can hear you. And you can't go in there with a cell phone. What does that mean? That means if you can't go in there with a cell phone, you can't privately bring in recording devices and record what was said to you. And so if you go out there and you put out, this is what was said and this is my side of the story, and you don't have a recording or video evidence, then it's just your word against theirs. They can get out and say something else, and they can say something else. Really, that's just the way it's dealing. But think about that for a second. Why would you take somebody to the situation room in order to fire them? Because you know the way that person is? Think about that for a second. A liar and someone, I want you to listen to me. Let me define for y'all what a slanderer is. A slanderer is someone that will go around and listen to an offended person. They would hear what the offended person has to say, and then they would go and speak to somebody else. And then they will begin to disparage and slander another person, speak ill will and say evil of another person based on another person's perspective or point of view. And then that person, like the viper, will go and spit in somebody else's ear and cause those people to literally be off of the chain, oppressed, because whether you like it or not, there's spirits that come out. And these are the type of people that you call wicked reporters, because they cannot seem to stay out of other people's business, and they act like that they are the ones that are the be-all, the end-all, the referee, the police, the spiritual police, and everything. I mean, it's some stuff that's going on with folks today. They want to stick their nose in everybody else's business. It's off of the literal chain. But to send somebody in the situation room to go fire them, man, there's a lot going on in this country, isn't it? Isn't there bigger fish in this pond to fry than these little personal attacks towards each other? Man. This is amazing. What world am I in? Now, on the flip side, I will say this. You may not like Trump, or you may like Trump. Now, I don't think that the sanctions are working really good at all. Companies are shutting down. People are losing jobs. I did a video on Patreon about how that this wall is taking the land away from farmers and Americans all across that border, but you don't hear Fox News reporting that. And people are losing their land and their livelihood to the government in the eminent domain. But I tell you, as I have many digressions in this video, I'm just trying to get a melody of music or a melody of information out to you, to give you something to think, to put a defibrillator on your mind today. But when you think about everything that's going on in this world, there's got to be other stuff that's more worthy to talk about than to shoot words back and forth at each other. I mean,
you ain't got to have a damn revelation of everything, have every I dotted and every T crossed in order to know how in the world to serve Christ. Sometimes you just got to get your mind